but tell us where you're from. We do have some prizes to give away today, so stick around. 3 great prizes. The girls are tweaking here to see if there's anything they can do to make me not fuzzy.
Good. I'm good.
Not
Okay,
fuzzy.
we're good.
Okay, so see, we just had to play around a little bit. So some prizes for today's live: a jelly roll and a Primitive Gatherings patch, a book, Susan Aki's book. This is 100 quilt blocks in here, and then urban book with another patch. So those are our prizes for today. So keep commenting on what's going on here today, and hopefully we'll pick your name for one of those prizes. But like I said, I'm fresh home from Hawaii. It was a lot of fun. It was great. I was relaxed. I had a wonderful time. I did things that I haven't done for a long time, like play cards lots of nights till late, stuff like that with some of the people. But it was a great way to get to know some of my customers, but yet I feel like I didn't get to know some of them because we were such a big group and people were with their husbands. And so I kind of feel bad sometimes that I don't get to really know everybody on a cruise like that, but it's probably impossible, and I'm just probably, and maybe they don't want to get to know me better. Okay, so let's just get going now with some of the things that we have going on at the shop. So currently we have just a small shop hop going on with some local shops. It's called Fall Frolic or Fall Frenzy or something like that. And we have this free pattern for this banner with a $40 purchase. So whether you can come in the store or online, if you do a $40 purchase, how long does the $40 purchase last, Jessica? Till Sunday. You get this, is it a download or a pattern or what is it?
They'll get a pattern in their package.
Okay, so we're just going to print and put this pattern in there. Of course, there's probably kits available for this as well. If you want to add one of those to that. Pretty simple sewing. You could probably get that done before your Thanksgiving dinner takes place. But that is one of the things going on in the shop right now. So if you come in, you can get that free pattern with a $40 purchase. All right, so as long as we're talking about the shop, let's go through all of the things going on quickly. All right, so let's start with our red and white challenge. So our red and white challenge comes with a few rules. So one of them is you have to sign up, pay the $10. You'll get a sticker and 2 fat quarters, 1 red and 1 cream. So if you did that already, there were instructions sent for you to send your quilts in, and we are receiving them now. So until October 31st, that's the last you can send them in. And we want you to clearly print out your entry form and include it in the package with your quilt so we know whose quilt it is. And then we also want you to provide a return mailing label and include it in the package with your quilt so we don't mess up your address and send it to somebody else. Clearly print and fill out and sign the insurance waiver and assumption of loss form and include that with your quilt. So that's just in case, act of God happens. It's not gonna, but you gotta have all your bases covered. Include a 4-inch sleeve securely attached to the back of your quilt because hopefully maybe yours will be the one hanging high in the gathering. Provide a label on the bottom left corner of your quilt with your name, address, and the name of your quilt. Include a photo of your quilt entry in the package along with your quilt. Now, it doesn't have to be, a masterpiece. It can just be a quick print it off on your printer just so we don't mess sending up the wrong quilt to the wrong person. Ensure your mail and package to Primitive Gatherings using the provided mailing label. So those are the rules. I'm sure they're somewhere on blog posts as well that Heidi has put on there. So if you have any questions about that, you can always call us. But hopefully you're well on your way to all of that already. We have Kids Sewing Camp, and that is happening October 19th, November 7th, and December 14th. So those are quilt camp days for kids from 4 to 6, 2 hours after school. So if you are looking for something for the young kids, sign them up for Quilt Camp. Adrian and Michelle always has fun things for them to do, and they are so excited about doing that. Now at the gathering, we have a couple things, some new clubs and some ongoing clubs. Obviously, we have Sit and Stitch coming up, and that is October 18th. I can't wait to be there. I've missed Sit and Stitch, so come and sign up for that session, or that might be full. I never know what they are, but you can call the gathering 920-778-8031. That is the telephone number to make sure you're signed up, because we need to know who's coming so we can prepare enough sandwiches and lunch and soup and all that kind of stuff. And then we also have, let's see what this is. This to me looks like the same. All right. We have added some 2023 dates as well. So we have, this is for Sit and Stitch again, 8th and 29th of November, December 13th, January 10th and 24th, February 14th and 28th. So we've added more sessions to the Sit and Stitch for you to sign up. And remember, those are $25 a piece, and you get lunch with that. And I think if you book a pack of them, you get one session free. Now, I'm super excited about the next thing, and that is rug hooking with Susie. Now, I'm going to tag along with her and show people how to rug punch as well. But this is this Sunday, and we have a nice group already. But maybe if you were on the fence about it and want to come in, maybe you had a bad week and you want to treat yourself, come on in, give us a call, sign up. Sunday from 11 to 3, we are going to be rug hooking and rug punching on a cute little sheepy design that's real scrappy and real fun to make. So you will learn on a small project whether you like this or not and want to continue that group and hang out and come and continue to do that. Susie is a McGowan certified rug hooking expert. You don't get that easily. That is a kind of like a lifetime achievement to get one of those. She's done many years of work to get that credibility. So come and learn from her. She's amazing. Just to see some of the things she can do, just totally awesome. Okay, so this Monday, October 17th, coming up this next Monday, 9 to 4:30, we are doing All Things Pumpkin. Again, we have a nice set of people for that. We don't need any more, but hey, if you're on the fence, there might be a spot or two for All Things Pumpkin. And if you remember me showing that off earlier, it's the Hey Pumpkin quilt with all the fun pumpkins with their faces on, and then I think I give you a matte pattern as well. And then coming up in December, we have Naughty or Nice. We have a few openings for that. And Judy says, I have no single rooms available for that, but we have 5 other rooms available for staying. That is 9 to 4:30 for that, and it's classes Tuesday through Friday. More info on this if you want to get away, treat yourself. For that, you can do day people or you can add on lodging with us. But that is 2 wool projects and a quilt project for that we will be doing. And then also, I don't know where the cross stitch one is, but Judy wanted to be reminded that we have Cross Stitch Club October 19th and November 9th and December 14th. So if you can join us for one of those dates for Cross Stitch Club, I found my cross stitch. I'm going to hang out with them and get going on my first cross stitch in about 35 years. So I have that ready for that. All right. Getting rid of the Post-it notes so I know what I've done or not. Do we have any questions so far on anything?
For the red and white challenge, where you put the label and you're saying on the lower left hand corner, they're wanting to know if that's when you're looking at the quilt or actually true left.
All right, so the question was for the red and white challenge, where should the label go? I don't care if it's what way it's facing. Just put the label on one of the bottom corners, okay? Whether it's facing you or not facing you, it doesn't matter. We're not that picky. Back, bottom, one of the corners. Whichever one you prefer, we don't care, okay? We just want there not to be any mix-ups in your quilts. God forbid. Okay, so one other thing happening I want to shout out about. It's Socialites 2. Fat Quarter Shop has invited me to do one of their Socialite blocks. I am one of 24 designers, and it's 24 weeks starting October 21st, going through April 14th of 2023. 2 weeks dedicated to finishing and backing, and there will be breaks at Thanksgiving and Christmas for this quilt along. Live tutorials will be posted the same day on Kimberly's Jolly Jobber YouTube channel. Blocks will be posted on Kim's blog and on the Jolly Jabber as well, and on each individual designer sites. Sign up for automatic emails on Kim's blog or by subscribing to the Jolly Jabber YouTube channel. You can also join at any time and get the released blocks archived on Kimberly's blog as well as mine. We'll give you links to where to find those as well, and they will be listed at the top of the menu. Yes. Sign up for automatic emails on Kim's blog. The quilt has 3 size options, 3, 6, and 9 inch, I believe. Each block pattern is marked accordingly to whether it's difficult or hard. All blocks use straight seams and traditional piecing. My block is number 24, so I'm way at the end, and it's called the Energized block. And full details will be posted on my blog tomorrow as well for their quilt along. Okay, so we had a blast with last year's, super fun, and sometimes you just got to do some of those things. Okay, any other questions before I go on? Let's pick a winner if we have one. So for Urban Patchworks, who's getting this? All right, Kathy Blumfield, this is yours. If you want to send us your physical address to the email that Kaylee is popping up, we can get that book and patch out to you. Okay, so let's talk about a couple things quickly. All right, so as soon as I got home and went through all my mail, look what was waiting, my favorite magazine. And I just got like briefly, like 2 seconds, you know, while I was kind of like looking over what we were going to talk about today. So I open a couple pages and look what happens to me like right away. I get flooded with this. So Red and White Gatherings is coming the end of October into Moda, so we'll probably see it a little bit in early November. We're going to cross our fingers and pray it comes for our Red and White Challenge during our Primitive Christmas. But I love it when you get to see your fabric in a full ad in a awesome magazine. And just a little FYI, like I said, I was kind of just piecing through this, and it had a lot of things to do for Christmas and getting ready, and there's a lot of cool little things in here. Like, I'm going to give this to Adrienne so she can get some ideas for our kids club, because there was a lot of things about making your own stickers with fusible web, so that was kind of fun. So these strips have fusible web on the back, and you can make a bunch of little projects for Christmas like that. So this book magazine is awesome. So I still subscribe to that one. That is still my favorite magazine, and I love it when one of my fabric lines is in there. So speaking of fabric lines, the fabric reps are running around crazy right now selling the market releases, and we're getting ready to send quilts off to market tomorrow for Moda, and we have 3 or 4 of them done that we are going to send off. But my next fabric line is called Rustic Gatherings. So I'll show this up close, and then Kaylee, I think, has a picture of all of the fabric. So this is kind of a teaser, because this is what the shops are looking at right now. This will not deliver until March or April of 2023. It is so beautiful to work with right now because it's creams and cheddars and oranges and light grays, dark grays, and blacks. So it has like 10 creams, 10 oranges, 10 grays, and 10 blacks. So I love it when I can do that with a fabric line and have equal amounts of fabrics to do things. So here is my quilt that I get to make out of our book. There will be a book with this fabric line called Rustic Gatherings. So this is the quilt that is all starched here with my name on it, all ready for me to start cutting and making my sample. Super excited about that one. So this book will have 12 quilts in there, and we will still do more with this fabric line than what the shops are going to see. I tried to stay away from fall and pumpkins, but I'm going to go there with fall and pumpkins with that. But for the book, not so much. Just more like, you know, fall, but yet not pumpkins or anything like that. Okay, wow, that was a lot. Let's pick another winner. All right, Cassie Playford, you have won Susan Aki's book. So please send us that information so we can get that out to you. All right, I got to use my phone in a minute to when we talk about that, but look at this print. I got to show you this. This is the backing on one of the quilts I'm going to show you next that we just have done in the shop. So I love this fabric. Isn't it cute? And it was perfect for Jessica's gingham quilt here that she's putting the binding on. I said, I don't care, I want it. So if you look at this gingham quilt, these are little bats. So this print is little bats. And this will be perfect for Halloween. There's that on the back. So we have this as a kit and pattern. Whether you want the kit or just the pattern, we have that on our website. Do we know what that is called?
Bat gingham.
Bat gingham.
Bat what?
Gingham.
Bat gingham. Okay, that works for me. Okay. So that's one of the things that you probably could still get that quilt done before Halloween if you got your order in today. Because it's
took me 3 hours.
What's that?
It only took me 3 hours.
Jessica said 3 hours to make the quilt. Perfect. See, I told you it wasn't that long to do. Okay, so then I'm going to show you a couple things here that we have for sale or that we have some quilt kits you can buy, and we have some quilts you can buy finished. So let's say that you got this upcoming wedding or a big, maybe somebody's getting, has a big event coming up, a big graduation, and you can't get the quilt done. We don't care if you give them one of our quilts already finished and done, okay? We won't tell them, all right? Your secret is safe with us that you did not make that quilt. And the one of them I'm talking about, I have 3 for you today that you can purchase. These 3 quilts, done, bound, not labeled, so you can put a label on it. We don't care, all right? So the one behind me is one of our shop samples. I don't remember the exact name of it, but it is an amazing quilt that took a long time to make. So that's why I can't let this go for cheap, cheap, cheap. This is a very complicated quilt to make. It's going to take you a long time to do it, and we have it all done for you and ready to go. It is $1,000 out the door. That's yours. If you want to get a hold of us and put your name on this quilt, and we will get a hold of you for payment. Are we having them call the shipping department?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to call the shipping department, which is 920-722-7233. That is how you're going to get that information, and we will put these quilts aside for you. If we do not sell these live today, we are going to put them on our website, and they will be for sale there. And we are going to start putting some of the quilts samples that we have here there as an ongoing place for you to look to see what we're offering. All right, so next up in that category is this one as well. And this one is called Final Four. Now, this is a big, big, big quilt as well. So definitely, let's go here. Heidi, you want to come and help me quick with this? All right. So let's just show them half of it. I'll step over this way. So this one I pieced and Linda Hershka quilted. So just to have that, a quilt that Linda has custom quilted, is pretty amazing. Her and I worked on this when we were in Paducah one year, and then she took it home with her and quilted it. So this was from one of my fabric lines. It is $800. It is yours for that amount. All done, all quilted, all bound, and I pieced it. Linda Hershka quilted it. So those are pretty rare to get a custom quilt from Linda. So we're probably breaking even on some of these quilts, but hopefully we're breaking even. Maybe not. All right, and then we have one more other quilt right here. This one is a Pam Buddha design that we did as a block of the month or a big quilt kit. Heidi will come and help me with this one as well. So remember, these quilts are for sale, already done. I'll find the price on this one in a minute. Ooh, this one's cheap. Way too cheap. Down here. Okay, so here's the whole quilt. So you can see how big it is, half the quilt, but you can see more of the design there. This also was custom quilted as well. I think Val quilted this one. Vegas Val. This one is $600 only. So again, big, big quilt. And only $600 for that one. If you want to see the back so you can see the quilting a little bit better. So those are the 3 quilts that are for sale that you can purchase for yourself or for a gift.
Somebody wants to know the size of that quilt.
All right, we'll figure out the size of that quilt for you. Okay. We will pick another winner for the Jelly Roll. All right, last winner, Heidi Yazwa. You are Jelly Roll and Patch winner. So Heidi, send us your address. Okay, so now I have a couple more quilts here that are discounted quilt kits. Like we only have a couple left. So we're really trying to clean up what we have because y'all know we have a new website coming in, a new POS system. So we're trying to not do some of this work that we only have a couple of quilt kits left for. So the first one here is We've Got You, or Interwoven Star. I'm sorry. Can you, this way. All right. And Jessica's measuring that quilt for you now. All right, this one is called Interwoven Star. So we have 2 kits left. They were regularly $120. They are $30 off for $90. 2 of those, if you want to grab one of those, again, pretty easy. Next up, this is one of my favorite quilts. And we have 2 of them. That's why we're letting one go. All right, so this is called Reflections. And I'm looking for my note. It must be this one. Do you see that? Reflections anywhere?
Should be on there. Maybe not.
Is it this one? Only one? No, you had said you had...
I have 6 of those.
Yeah, so we have 6 of these left. Jessica will tell us what this is. She didn't give me a note on that one.
It is 30% off. It's $157.50.
$157.50 at 30% off. And then this one is called Merry and Bright. We only have 3 of these beauties left, so it is only $91. This one is called Merry and Bright. This one is super fun and super fast. I made this one. I loved it. So there is the tree. Can you go up higher so I show the bottom? All right. And I did this just all by machine. Okay. Or it can be hand. Either way. Whatever one you want to do. Oh, speaking of machine, we have some really cool stuff going to happen coming up. One of our girls here has figured out how to put Valdani in the top part of your sewing machine, of the Bernina sewing machines, and sew with it, and it's so amazing. So this one is called Tree Lot, and Tree Lot, there's only 3 kits left. This one is $197 on sale for $167.45. So let's show them the bottom part so they can see the word joy in there. 3 of those left. Okay, and then we have one more, but we don't have the quilt for it, and it is called Shooting Star. So do you have the overlay of that one? All right, Shooting Star, I believe, is, is that the one you only have one?
Yep.
Okay, only one left, $108, 20% off. Okay, so those are all the discounted kits of a little bit. So just to, like I said, give you a great price and to make us not do that work because we have so little of that left. All right, now remember, does it matter if they purchase something that's on sale to get the $40, Jess, for the... Nope, we don't care. We're going to give you that free pattern. So remember the Grateful pattern? You're going to get that with any orders that are over $40 that you place between now and Sunday. Okay. I talked about the quilt behind me. I talked about this one. Anything else before I talk about Hawaii? All right. Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my Hawaiian quilting cruise. All right, and Kaylee has a couple overlays, so she will put them up as I start talking about what kind of happened. And I know I owe you guys a big apology because I said I was going to post a picture once a day and talk about what happened that day. But to tell you the truth, our internet was so horrible. I literally could not even... It worked if anything you wanted on the ship. Like they had this like private internet and you had to buy it to have it, and it didn't work if you needed to do anything else. So I even had to like wait to post on Facebook. It was like my photo was uploading, like it took forever, and finally I just gave up. I'm like, I can't do this. So we're gonna kind of do a little bit here, and then maybe me and Heidi will post a little bit about that. But we took 57 quilters to Hawaii from Vancouver. So we started off in Vancouver with 57 quilters and some spouses to make like 76 or something like that people total on board that were a part of the quilting cruise. And let's just back up and say that we booked this quilt cruise in 2018 and it had finally happened. Thank God. Okay, because that is a long time to have that hanging up there and out there with all what happened. But let me tell you, it was so amazing and so worth it. It was beautiful. If you can ever go on a quilting cruise, do it. It's like the best of both worlds. A little bit of stitching and a little bit of vacation, and together, let me tell you, you wear yourself out trying to do all the things. But it's good. It's good because you're doing things that you would normally wouldn't be able to do. And it was so much fun. So Kaylee, you're going to pop up some pictures for me now?
Yep.
Okay. So we started off in Vancouver. When we were in Vancouver, I like to make sure I have a day to get on the ship just in case my flight if there's anything with that flight. So we left on a Wednesday to Vancouver through Toronto. of course, the last week that you had to do all the COVID stuff, the week after we were there, they discontinued it all. But we had to still do COVID tests to get into Canada and to get on the ship and all that kind of stuff. But that's all past us now. I'm not going to dwell on that. But we did have to have a special drink when we all passed because we were all holding our breaths and a little nervous because I know one lady did not get to go on the cruise because she had a positive test, and my heart breaks for her. But, you know, what do you got to do? You just kind of admit that it sucks and you move on. So we started off in Vancouver. We got there on Wednesday. Everybody's luggage landed, and we found our hotel room. And then we, you know, just did a little dinner with friends, which was super fun. And of course, seafood there. You're right on that coastal area there. So I ate seafood as much as I can on this whole trip. But we did suspension bridges. Those are going over big gorges. So I hope you can see some of those photos. And then there's one photo on there that looks like my Google map, you know, because when I bike or hike, I do a map my run, it's called, and you know, whether you're riding a bike or whatever. So I just want to pinpoint that I was there. So I had that running in the background when we did the suspension bridges and when we did there's like a cliff wall walk. And then there's this massive spot in the middle. Well, you know what that massive spot is? That's the gift shop. And that's me trying to find Darcy. Okay? Because Darcy, Darcy has to look and touch and feel and whatever, everything. And it's good, right? She finds some cool stuff that I miss sometimes. So I'll look at what she's got and then I go back and buy another purchase. But I just thought that was pretty funny after I looked at that because that's me, you know, shopping and looking for Darcy. But I love Darcy and she knows it. So that was kind of funny to see that on my map there. So pretty fun. And then we went to the parks out in Vancouver where those big statues are. We walked into I think it was Stanley Park, and we did some fun hiking there. We walked a lot. We walked a lot on this trip. I actually lost weight on this trip. So I'll tell you how that happened. But
sounds like it was thanks to Darcy.
yeah, it's partly Darcy's to blame for us making all those steps. But yeah, but she was so fun. And like I said, everybody was a good sport about doing some of the things that I wanted to do. I mean, I wanted to get on those suspension bridges because I always heard that that's one of the things that you need to do while you're there. And super cool city, very eclectic, very lots of culture, lots of different people. There was no, you know, it was just a big melting pot. We had fun shopping there as well because guess what? We were in Canada and it was like getting 30% off of everything we bought because our dollar is like 30% stronger than theirs. So you'd look at, oh, look at this $80 jacket, right? But if you take 30% off of it, it was $50 or whatever, you know, or 48, well, you know. So we had to buy some of that stuff because it was just such good pricing on brands that we don't see here in America. And of course, we went to Tim Hortons and ate some local stuff, and it was just great. Vancouver was fun. But then we got on the cruise ship and we sailed for a week to the Hawaiian Islands. So what do you do on a cruise ship for a week? Well, let me tell you, there's a lot to do on a cruise ship. So the first thing I want Kaylee to show is that we did 2 projects. So she's going to show you some of the ladies stitching. Now we stitched from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 4 o'clock every day on the ship. It wasn't mandatory. It was, this is the time we're going to ship and then the stitch and then the rest of the time we're going to enjoy the ship. So I didn't want to make it like we had to stitch 8 hours a day or 6 hours a day. But I wanted to say, I'm going to be here in that room between 1 and 4 every day if you need help. So I showed stitches added to our projects. I'll show you those projects in a minute. But if they wanted to go to aerobics in the morning at 10 o'clock, they could do that. If they wanted to hear the talk about Hawaii, they could do that. So it was kind of trying to find a balance of how much stitching. And I'm sure I didn't please everyone. I'm sure that people wanted more stitching, and I'm sure people, after a while, you could tell that some people were having too much fun on the ship. They were enjoying themselves on the ship, and they weren't in there sewing. But guess what? That's how it is. It's your vacation. You do what you want. We don't care that you don't come to stitching from 1 to 4 if you're getting a massage or, watching entertainment. It's just so fun. Or playing bingo or playing cards or hanging out or going on another talk. Or, hey, let me tell you, the captain of our ship was pretty darn entertaining. He was our age. I'm going to say that. He was very handsome. And he sang AC/DC Bon Jovi at night. He killed it. Like, he had all these women swooning over him. He was just so gorgeous. He was from Poland. He was meeting his wife on one of the Hawaiian islands. So he was his first time to Hawaii. He was just so super cool, and getting to know him and him sharing his talent with us, singing with the crew on the cruise ship. Let me tell you, it was packed. You couldn't we were like, vying for position to see him sing. He was amazing. So you never know what's going to happen on a cruise ship. But so we cruised, we stitched, and then we got to the Hawaiian Islands. So after 7 days of cruising, we wanted to see some land, and we wanted to get off that ship. And there was one day, I think it was during the hurricane, that we had some bigger waves. And they warned us about, 16-foot waves and what that might be like. But it wasn't as bad as what they predicted. So we got away with that. And there was this nice little lull at night, just kind of like rocking you to sleep. So some of the quilters and husbands slept very well, and they want to go home and find that again, where a bed that will lull them to sleep. Okay, so now I want to say we stopped 5 different islands, but I think it was only 4 different islands, because we went to one side and then we went to the other side. So if you want to know, or if it matters, and I hope I get this right, because it's kind of all one big blur after you get back after 18 days. But the first island we stopped on was Kona. And that was the big island. And there, when we stopped there, that was where the Ironman National Championships were going to be happening the next weekend. So they were there practicing. They were all over the place, riding their bikes, swimming in the ocean, running. And let me tell you, they were beautiful people. They had beautiful bodies. They were so in shape. We were all jealous. All those muscles, all those no hair on those guys. They were like shaved, and they were just cool to see that close, and how awesome the human body can, and that they can run and swim and bike all those miles, because this was the world championship. Like I said, they were elite athletes. And I don't know how they got their bikes there. I wonder if they shipped them. But they were these beautiful bikes. Like I said, I love to ride my bikes, but I never seen bikes like this. They were pretty amazing. So we were on Kona, and they had 2 beaches that we went to. We jumped on the hop-on, hop-off bus for $20, and it brought us to all these different places. And you could hop off at the beach, and then swim, and then hop back on the beach, or hop up back on the bus and go to like the farmer's market. But I had the best tacos on this island, and I think it was called Shaki Tacos. And it was at one of the flea markets where they had all the high-end handmade Hawaiian stuff. And it had a crust of cheese on the inside of the tortilla, and everything was handmade and fresh. And the fish was ono, and it was amazing. It was, I even bought a sticker that said Shaki Tacos. Okay, because I love to collect stickers as well. So I have a sticker to remind me of that beautiful taco that I will never ever forget. And I love it when they tell you the things that you should eat when you get there. So always ask what you should be eating. Okay, so then the next stop was Kauai. So that is like Hawaii only with a K. And so we got on our ship, we went to Kauai, and like I said, it's kind of hard to remember what you did at each place, but we always shopped. We always went to a beach. And one of the things I do, and I don't know if it's illegal or not, but I kind of take a little bit of beach sand home with me because I have this big glass jar and I layer it with all the different sand beaches that I visited. So I have 3 more beaches to add to my glass jar, even though I visited more beaches. But when the sand kind of looks the same, I didn't collect it. So I collected sand from Kona, Maui, and Oahu, Waikiki. So our stops were then the next day, the 3rd day, we wake up on the other side of the big island at Hilo. And at Hilo, we did a lot of shopping over there. Hilo is where Tina and I tried to rent a car, and we ended up walking to these places to rent a car, and then the car rental place wasn't there, and it was hot and we were sweating and it was just miserable. All right, but they had these beautiful parks and these beautiful trees, and you can kind of maybe see some of those trees with these big canopies, and the branches kind of connected to each tree. Like, how does that happen? So it was amazing to see some of the foliage. And I just thought of this now. My wool box ongoing project for 2023 and 2024, it's going to be a 2-year one, is inspired by Hawaii. So I can't wait for you to see what we're going to have for you in that box. Pretty amazing. I'll just throw that out there. And then the 4th day was, I probably got these mixed up, but we went to Maui on the 4th day, and I think that was the place we couldn't find the car, but I could be wrong. I'm bad. All right, I'm bad at all that. But again, swimming on the beaches in the afternoon, always shopping, looking for presents for our grandkids and our husbands and everybody we left at home. So it was super fun finding gifts for them. And in the last stop, we landed in Honolulu, Waikiki Beach, and that's where we stayed 3 days. And that's like waking up in this big city, right? You see all the skyscrapers of all the hotels, all the very fancy shopping. So very, very urban, very, not like the rustic islands that we are on. Some of those other islands were very not so commercialized, and people will tell you that all the time. But I really liked the difference between them. I really loved being in Honolulu or Oahu and being able to experience the difference in the Hawaiian Islands and seeing where movies were made and stuff like that. So there was a lot of fun stuff that we got to do, and we stayed at the military hotel Haley Kao. I can't always pronounce it wrong, but that was so fun to stay there 3 days. So the first day we got there, we did a little pool after we got into our hotels, and then at night we went to dinner and just stayed there and played cards. The next day we went to Pearl Harbor. So Pearl Harbor, the Missouri, those are national parks, and I wanted to for sure see those, to get those off of, collect my stickers for my national park passport. But I can't say enough about how moving Pearl Harbor is and how that makes you feel. It's just so serene and just so awesome that they have built this memorial for our fallen servicemen and women who were there. And it's just very moving, and I'm sure it does different things for different people. Going on the Missouri was also very cool to actually see how the servicemen live and their surroundings, those big guns, just to be in the spot where they signed the treaty for the end of World War II was also very cool to be on that ship and to know about why the Missouri is facing in the harbor instead of out the harbor. It's just so moving. So if you get a chance to go there, please go there. It's awesome. It's very, like I said, glad that we preserved those times in history so we all can understand and respect that and just do what we need to do to honor them for the lives that we now lead because of what they did, what they helped us overcome that day. And then we also, the last day before we were coming home, we quickly got up early in the morning to go to Diamond Head, which is that volcano that you can see on the Waikiki shoreline. That was super fun to hike that. Wasn't easy, wasn't hard, but it was doable. It took us about, so we were trying to plan that, we have to be out of our hotel room at 11. We didn't think we were going to make it, but we hiked and got back already, I think by 10:30, 10 o'clock, a little after 10. So we hiked up, hiked back down. And let me say hike back down because when you get up there, that's hard getting up. But it ain't easy coming down either. Those are totally different sets of muscles that you use to come down. But the view, once you got up there, you could see the whole coastline of Waikiki. You could see all the white hotels. And you can see the big crater that's left there. You can see a really cool lighthouse looking down. So I'll be sharing some of those photos if you can't really see them good here, but we have some for you. And watch our blog post. We'll put some of those in when we have time to put those in. So I think those were all the things. A luau. We had a real luau one day too. And let me tell you, we did a luau. I want to warn you, though, that make sure that you look at your excursions because I know some people on our ship paid a lot of money for a luau. That was like $300. We paid $115. It was amazing. 3 hours. The food was awesome. You could see the pig coming out of the pit. The drinks. They had a alcoholic rum punch and a non-alcoholic rum punch, and that non-alcoholic punch was amazing. Like, we're trying to get the recipe for it. So we want to be able to make that. It was that good. So like I said, the culture was amazing in Hawaii. It'd be hard for me to tell you what island to stay on. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out myself. So if you can go on a cruise, that was a great way to see all the islands and get a little bit of each thing. And like I said, a lot of fun. And I'm tired, and the time change is 5 hours different, and the flight home, but the cherry on top was I went to the Chris Stapleton concert on Saturday. So we get on the plane on Friday at 5 o'clock. We fly all night. We get to Minneapolis 6 in the morning. We fly to Milwaukee. Get to Milwaukee by 9 a.m. Get all of our luggage, go to our hotel, can't check in. So we go to the mall parking lot and take a nap. So we nap in the mall parking lot for a little bit. We then go back to our hotel, sleep for a couple hours, get dressed, go see Chris Stapleton, which is amazing. Another check off my bucket list. Thank you for that awesome concert. Love his music. Singing at the top of my lungs when I ride my bicycle. It's the time when I cry, I laugh, I feel all the feelings, I get it all out of me, and that's how I love to ride my bike and, like I said, do those things. And he is a very good songwriter, and I love everything he writes. Okay, so thanks for hanging out with me and listening to me ramble on about my Hawaiian excursion with those, what's that?
Projects.
Oh yeah, those 50 amazing quilters. So let's talk about the projects that we did. Do you want to flip up the big things of them, and then I'll tell me which one what you got first? You got
American Pennies.
Okay, so American Pennies that Kaylee has up on the screen right now. This was a project that they came with them. The kit came pre-cut, and they had to lay it out, fuse it all down, and come and stitch. So I sent them out a video to get them working on those pennies, get them laid down so they fit the wool correctly, and then we stitched on those. And yes, it was kind of a big project. It wasn't easy to bring on an airplane or probably on the cruise ship, but you know, do you want nice projects or do you want little projects? Or so whatever. I know that was one of the comments I got, and I get it. You know, it wasn't easy to hold on to this, but I showed them ways to clip these with the big clips so you could sew onto the inner pennies. So here this one is all finished and done. Backing on it. So these projects are on our website. I didn't want to release them until we did them all and found any of the little things that we could add to it. So they came with this one all fused down as well. And then I showed them any of the stitching, helped them with their blanket stitching, cross stitching, stem stitching, and then we did some embellishing that I need to add to the pattern. So I don't know if Kaylee can get a really good shot of the center of this flower here, but we did rounds of bullion knots and then some drizzles in the middle there. And then over on the next size flowers, just 2 rows of bullions. I'm probably going to put a little knot in the center there as well. And then out on these flowers out here, just 1 light blue knot in the middle there. And then this one will be done and the guys will get it quilted. So those were our 2 projects that we stitched on the ship, and they are on our website for you to get them purchased. This is not a pre-cut kit. They did not want to do that because of how small some of those pieces were, but trust me, it was not that hard to do. This one is pre-cut though, if you want that one pre-cut. Okay, so thanks for hanging out with me today, and we will see you back again with more videos and more lives next week here at Primitive Gatherings. Thank you, everyone.